The SAT is split up into three different tests: math, reading, and writing and language. In this lesson, we'll take a closer look at the writing and language test. The SAT Writing and Language Test is part of the evidence-based reading and writing section. It tests you on the grammar and wording of sentences that you read in passages. On the test, you'll read through several passages and you'll have to edit parts of sentences in them. You might have to correct grammar errors or change the language of the passages to be more rhetorically effective. You might also have to correct errors that test your comprehension of the passage as a whole or of graphs and charts attached to the passage. All questions are multiple choice. The good news is that the SAT tells you exactly what rules they want you to follow. There's no mystery and there are no surprises. So take a look at what you'll see on the test and what you need to know to beat it. On the new SAT, the Writing and Language Test is one part of the evidence-based reading and writing section. On this part of the test, you'll get 4 passages, one from each of the following fields: careers, history or social studies, humanities, science. Each passage will have 11 questions for a total of 44 questions in 35 minutes. That's less than 1 minute per question. All questions will be multiple choice with 4 answer choices. At least one of the passages will also have some kind of graphic, a chart, diagram, or some other visual form representing the information in the passage. Now let's dig deeper into the questions. 20 of the 44 questions on the test will focus on grammar rules. These questions test how well you know rules like matching singular subjects to singular verbs and singular pronouns to singular antecedents. For example, it's the dogs run in the park, not the dogs runs in the park. When to use there versus there versus there. When to use a comma, a semicolon, and a period. How to use punctuation in a list. These are just examples. The actual SAT will test you on more rules than those 4, but these give you an idea of what kinds of questions you'll see. Here's an example of one of those questions. Another contentious topic is the so-called runner's high. Some runners report feeling a sense of euphoria that overcomes them for a few miles into a good run. Other runners run for years but never experience a runner's high. Running also has cardiovascular benefits. Researchers have been unable to pinpoint precisely what causes the high in runners who report enjoying it. Euphoria that overcomes. A. No change. B. Euphoria, comma, it overcomes. C. Euphoria, period, that overcomes. D. Euphoria that overcomes. The correct answer is D. This sentence has unnecessary punctuation. Both commas are unnecessary. Answer choice B introduces a comma splice, so B is incorrect. Choice C awkwardly breaks up the sentence for no reason. Choice D eliminates the unnecessary commas, so D is correct. The other 24 of the 44 questions will focus on expression of ideas, which means how well the writer communicates his or her point. On these questions, you'll have to know which of 4 pieces of information adds the best support for an argument, when to delete information that isn't relevant to the argument, how to organize an argument in a logical sequence, and how to be concise and avoid unnecessary repetition and wordiness. Again, these are examples of the types of skills you'll need. The real SAT will test a whole long list of skills like these. Most of the questions will be based on the written passages. A variable number of the 44 total questions will be based on the graphics that accompany the passages. Here's an example of a question about expression of ideas. Another contentious topic is the so-called runner's high. Some runners report feeling a sense of euphoria that overcomes them a few miles into a good run. Other runners run for years but never experience a runner's high. Running also has cardiovascular benefits. Researchers have been unable to pinpoint precisely what causes the high in runners who report enjoying it. What should be done with sentence 3? A. No change. B. Delete it. C. Move it to before sentence 1. D. Move it to after sentence 4. The correct answer is B. This sentence is not relevant to the topic of the paragraph, which is the runner's high. The information in the sentence is true, but not an effective detail for supporting the author's argument. In this lesson, you learned about the SAT Writing and Language Test. On this test, you'll answer 44 multiple-choice questions on 4 passages with 11 questions per passage. At least one of the passages will also have some kind of graphic, like a chart or diagram. Some of the questions will ask you about basic grammar rules. Other questions ask about style and rhetoric. You'll have just 35 minutes to answer all 44 questions, so it's important to work quickly. Now, test your skills on the quiz questions.